Alright, I figure I'll give a shop tour. It's kind of cluttered because it's small. Over here we have Paragon heat treat oven that I got from Doug Ponzio, and underneath it's a portable table saw. There's the stand for the compound miter saw. There's a swudge block and some of the tools for the hardy hole on the anvil, a couple cones. That is 165 pound Peter Wright. It has a few spots that need to be fixed. I'm going to resurface the whole thing. There's the Peter Wright patent on the side. We have a grinder on a stand, forge, gas forge that we built. Back behind that is a John Barnes gap bed lathe. That's a 12 by 20, I believe. And there's the handle to open the gap in the bed. There's a spare chuck on the bench, or the shelf behind it there, and up above is a toolbox with the tools, all the lathe tools and that for it. And we got our books and our refrigerant gauges up there. Here is a portable bandsaw with some scraps of steel sitting on it right now. Here is the power hammer. That's the guard for the linkage. It's definitely a homemade hammer. I bought it used. Bob Ritchie built it in the 80s. There's the linkage that I put on it. It didn't have a linkage on it before. It had just a drop hammer on it. And then there's a Delta drill press. It needs a new capacitor for the motor, and it's sitting right there. And then here we have a press that I recently put a linkage on it so it has a foot pedal. I'm going to build some dies and a guide for it so that I can do some more Damascus stuff. There's a parts washer with a buffer wheel on top, and that's where I set the compound miter saw for now. Some various belts there. There's my post vise, some tongs, and below it is the ultra jig with all the dies for it. There. Lean that the other way so you can see that. It's the ultra jig. And there's the Bridgeport and the toolbox with all of its tools there behind it. And all the setup there. There's some more parts up there. We got our toolboxes behind me here. It's a hardened lathe. It's an Elgin. We got tons of collets there, 4 or 5C collets underneath there. It's got a 5C 3-jaw collet chuck in it, and there's another chuck. This slow cutting oil can, I got that idea from Mr. Pete on YouTube. Thank you, Mr. Pete, YouTube shop teacher. And then here we have some transfer punches and some various bushing material there, some bronze bushing. There's another little anvil back there. Just a little guy. Um, there's Isabelle's anvil underneath there with the vise on it. There's another little anvil sitting on top. The tool grinder is 480, not 480, three-phase rather. And there's a Trenton anvil there. It's 85-pound Trenton. It's a nice anvil. It's my first real anvil. There's another swudge block back in there. Big guy. Let's see. There's the back side of the first CNC. And then we come around the corner here. We got oxygen acetylene torch. That's a quench tank I got from Doug Ponzio. There's my hillbilly dust collector for the CNC machine with the shop back under it. This here is a table router. You can see I use it as a table a lot of times. A bunch of angle grinders. Back behind the ladder here is all of my grinding stones for the surface grinder, which is right here. It's also three-phase. Back up there's the phase converter. The Elgin lathe and the Bridgeport are all three-phase as well. There's some capacitors. I plan on making a capacitor bank so that the three phases run a little more evenly. Everything runs fine as it is, but I thought I'd even out the legs. That's a demagnetizer I got from Jim Riberty's auction. Over here is the, let me move this back out of the way. That is MIG welder. It's a Harbor Freight, but it works really well. The gas behind it there. Spare air compressor in the corner. It was my main one before. Now I have 220 80-gallon two-stage out in the lean-to. There's first plasma cutter. And then we got chainsaw sharpener, Harbor Freight as well. And blast cabinet, which is also Harbor Freight. Nuts and bolts. Bench grinder, vise. Lots of 80-20 parts under there for the extrusions. Bins and bins and bins of them. Right here's the beer fridge. There ain't no beer in it right now. Wood lathe that I haven't used yet. All that'll change when we get our new big shop, which is coming up soon. There's our drill press, a small one that I use a lot. AHP TIG stick, AC/DC, nice for aluminum, works real well. It has pulse and it welds aluminum real nice. Up here is Harbor Freight bandsaw on a stand. I put a foot pedal on that and the wood bandsaw here, the ProTech. There's the 2x72 that I built, and then there's the finger groove attachment here. I made that as well. Turn that on the lathe, welded the aluminum bracket myself, which isn't real pretty, but it's pretty nice. There's another belt sander there with the little 6-inch wheel on the side. As I turn around here, again, there's the Paragon heat treat oven from Ponzio. With all new parts up there, the controller's in there. It needs a new element, which he gave me as well. That is control panel for the CO2 laser I got from Riberty. It's huge. So I don't have enough room right now until we get the new shop again to get it hooked up. This is my most recent CNC that I built. It also has a router and plasma cutter, which sits underneath. The torch, I made a, which I can't get out right now, but I 3D printed a base for the torch so that it sits in the stand for the DeWalt router. Fits right in there, so clamps in, fits perfect. So then this OSB comes out and it's a water table underneath. This is the control panel for it that I put together. If I can get it open. And the stepper drivers and the breakout board and Ethernet smooth stepper, power supply, and of course on top it has e-stop and a limit override switch. Their cool logo all over the place. And I was using this old PC with XP on it to run it, but now since I put the smooth stepper in, I also can control it with the Xbox controller, which is pretty cool, and I'll put a clip for that in here. Oh, that's awesome. You can lift if you want to. That is cool. You're drawing a picture with the machine, dude.
It's my video game.
It's your video game.
I'm coming out here like every day to do this now.
Oh, the marker's squeaking.
I don't know, I'm drawing a lot of squares to get used to it, but what's going on?
And so I can control it now with a smooth stepper with the Ethernet instead of having to use the old XP with the breakout board. And I had put this monitor up, and that way we could run it all from the same station as the other CNC, which is right here. I put NEMA 23 motors on it because the 17s just weren't powerful enough. Up top and behind there you can see the JTech laser controller, and right there is the JTech laser. I put an Inventables router holder on it because it fits the 611 nice. Made all my own bearing holders and everything. Definitely gonna rebuild this and put the uprights on the outside of this rail out here so that I can get more cutting area, because as of right now I can only cut 2 foot by 2 foot with a 4 foot machine. So it's the first one I built. Didn't really know what I was doing. It works really well, being it's screw driven, has lots of torque. I could probably even cut steel with it, but it has a little bit of play in it. So as far as I'd go is with aluminum. Here's the control panel for it. Yes, it's very hillbilly. It was an old dresser drawer, but I didn't have anything else at the time. There's the 3 stepper drivers in there, and I put PC fans on each one. There's your Arduino board, if I can get in there and see it. Here is the power supply for that, and it goes through the bottom there and goes through the other side and comes back up in. I have some stickers on there so I can remember certain commands for the laser, because when I first got it I was having trouble remembering. that's pretty much everything in the shop here. I have, you know, some other things laying around in the lean-to and that didn't have room for in here right now because obviously it's a 2.5 car garage and not really a big shop, which is, like I said, coming soon. We'll have videos of that and the progress we're making on that coming up, so stay tuned, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe and comment and give us a good thumbs up so that we can keep making these.